What if I told you McLaren has created a car that can go from 0 to 124 miles per hour in just 5.8 seconds? And it's a hybrid. You heard that right, the new McLaren W1 packs a whopping 1,258 horsepower under the hood. But how did they do it? What groundbreaking tech allows for this mind-blowing speed while still being somewhat eco-friendly? And just how much will this hybrid rocket on wheels set you back? This is everything you need to know about the new McLaren W1, the successor to the legendary P1.
Ultimately, as you walk away, you want to turn around for one more look.
At the core of the W1 is a power plant that will make your jaw drop. We're talking about an all-new twin-turbocharged 4-litre V8 engine. This beast is paired with an electric motor to create a hybrid system that will blow your mind. Let's break it down. The V8 alone pumps out a massive 915 horsepower. The electric motor throws in another 342 horsepower. That's more power than some small towns use. Sure, it's got power, but can it put it down? Well, the W1 can rocket from 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 2.7 seconds. Need to hit 124 miles per hour? It'll do that in 5.8 seconds. And if you're really feeling brave, it'll take you all the way to 186 miles per hour in under 12.7 seconds. Top speed, an electronically limited 217 miles per hour. I say limited because who knows how fast this thing could go if they let it off the leash. But all that power goes to the rear wheels only. This beast is a rear-wheel drive. How does it manage all that power without turning into a tire shredding machine? Well, that brings us to our next mind-blowing feature. The W1's aerodynamics are straight out of a sci-fi movie. The W1 isn't just fast in a straight line, it's a corner-craving monster too. But how? 2 words: active aerodynamics. This car doesn't just have a few moving bits here and there, it practically shapeshifts on the move. Let's start with the front. The W1 has an active front wing that's so good, McLaren says it makes as much downforce as the rear wing on most supercars. But the real party piece is at the back. They call it the McLaren Active Long Tail, and it's like nothing you've ever seen before. This rear wing doesn't just move up and down, it extends backwards by up to 300 millimeters. That's almost a foot. And it can rotate through a full 180 degrees. It's like the car is growing a tail on demand. But why? Well, this crazy wing combined with the car's underbody aero can generate a whopping 1,000 kilograms of downforce. That's like having a whole other car pushing you into the ground. But here's the really clever bit. All this aero magic adjusts on the fly based on how you're driving. Braking hard, the wing becomes an air brake. Need to cut through the air, it'll flatten out for less drag. It's like having an invisible co-pilot constantly tweaking the car to give you the best performance possible. And McLaren says the W1 is more aero-efficient than current Formula 1 cars. This road car is more advanced than the pinnacle of motorsport. Mind blown. Now, all this tech must make it weigh as much as a tank, right? Well, prepare to be amazed once again. Despite all this high-tech wizardry, the W1 tips the scales at just 1,399 kilograms dry. That's about the same as a family hatchback. How did they pull off this miracle? It's all about the details. The car is built around something called the aerocell monocoque. It's made from pre-preg carbon fiber, the same stuff they use in high-end racing cars. This isn't just light, it's strong enough to have the seats built right into it. That's right, the seats are part of the car's structure. But they didn't stop there. The suspension uses titanium components. The brakes are made from a special carbon ceramic material. Even the sun visors are made from carbon fiber and are just 3 millimeters thick. All this obsession with weight means the W1 has a power to weight ratio of 899 horsepower per tonne. In simple terms, it's got more go-fast per kilogram than almost anything else on the road. Sure, it's fast and fancy on the outside, but what about the inside? Is it just a stripped out race car interior? Well, the W1's cockpit is about to blow your mind. Step inside the W1 and you might think you've entered the cockpit of a spaceship. But don't worry, you won't need a pilot's license to operate this baby. First off, those seats we mentioned earlier that are built into the car, they're not just bolted in race buckets. These are fully upholstered, comfy chairs that will cradle you whether you're cruising down the highway or pulling G's on the track. The pedals, steering wheel and main controls all move to meet you. That's right, you don't adjust to the car adjusts to you. And about that steering wheel, well, it's smaller than your typical McLaren wheel, making it easier to manhandle when you're pushing the limits. And it's got just 2 buttons. One for a boost function and another to tweak the aero on the fly. But the real party piece, the visibility. McLaren has given the W1 the skinniest A-pillars they've ever put on a road car. What does that mean for you? It means you can see where you're going, even when you're cornering at speeds that will make your passengers wet their pants. There's also a high-res touchscreen in the center, just like you'd find in McLaren's normal supercars. You've got Apple CarPlay, so you can blast your favorite tunes, and McLaren's cooked up something called InnoKnit for the interior trim. It's super light, eco-friendly and can be tailored in all sorts of colors. Plus, it integrates the audio system and ambient lighting. It's like sitting inside a high-tech, comfy bubble that just happens to go faster than a fighter jet. But McLaren isn't just about raw speed. They claim the W1 is an everything car. So, how does all this race car tech translate to the street? Here's where things get really clever. The W1 has 2 main modes, road and race. In road mode, it's as civilized as a luxury car. The suspension softens up, the wild aero bits tuck themselves away, and you can almost fool yourself into thinking you're in a normal car. Almost. But flip it into race mode, and the car transforms. The ride height drops, the suspension stiffens, and all those crazy aero bits come out to play. It's like the car is putting on its superhero costume. There's a comfort mode for cruising, a sports mode for some fun on twisty roads, and even a race plus mode for when you're feeling really brave on a smooth racetrack. And despite all this performance, McLaren says the W1 is as easy to service as their less extreme cars. It even comes with a 4-year service plan. Now, how much does all this insanity cost? Well, you might want to sit down for this one. The McLaren W1 will set you back in excess of £2 million. Yes, over £2 million. That's about the same as buying a luxury house in many parts of the world. But before you start checking down the back of your sofa for spare change, I've got some bad news. All 399 examples of the W1 have already been sold. Yep, they're all gone before the first one has even been built. But if you've got a spare 2 million lying around and you're feeling lucky, you could always try to get on the waiting list. Who knows, maybe someone will change their mind. And there you have it, the McLaren W1 in all its glory. A car that's faster than a speeding bullet, smarter than a supercomputer, and rarer than a unicorn. It's a glimpse into the future of hypercars, where hybrid power meets space-age aerodynamics. If you enjoyed learning about this new beast from McLaren, then drop a like and subscribe for more updates on the latest and greatest cars. And click here to watch our video on the next-gen Toyota GR86, another hybrid coupe that's sure to set your pulse racing. We'll see you in the next one.